All right, we are going to learn how to graph equations on our Cartesian coordinate system. So you recall that these are in slope-intercept form, which is the form y equals mx plus b. M represents the slope or the rise over run. So that's how steep your line is going to be. It could also be positive or negative. And then we have our y-intercept, and this represents where your line will cross the y-axis. It could also be positive or negative. So we're going to start with this one and start by locating each one of these. So the slope is right here. It is -3. Now, I want to write the slope in rise over run form, which means in fraction form. So -3 is just -3 over 1. Whole numbers can just be written over 1. And then my y-intercept is this last number at the end here, +4. And I have what I need to be able to graph this line. I'm going to start by placing my y-intercept on the y-axis. So my y-intercept is at +4. So I'm starting at the origin at 0 here, and I'm going to put a point at +4 on my y-axis. Now, my slope is -3 over 1. So -3 tells me how far I will go, or 3 tells me how far I will go up or down. 1 tells me how far I will go over. So I'm going to start here. Because it's negative, I'm going to go down 3 to the right 1. I'm going to keep doing that. Down 3 to the right 1. And you can see what I'm getting here is a line with a negative slope of -3 over 1. See how it's going down to the right? That crosses the y-axis at 4. So I'm going to use my ruler and make my line. And there's that graph. And if you were to plug this into a graphing calculator, you would get this. Okay, here we have y equals 3 over 4x. So again, I'm going to find my m, my slope, and my b. So I have m equals and b equals. M, my slope, hey, it's already written as a fraction. It's a fraction, so I can just write it how it is, 3 over 4. B, where is the b? Well, there isn't one because it crosses through at 0. So it would be silly to put +0. We don't write that. So my y-intercept is just 0. So I'm going to start at my y-intercept on the y-axis here at 0. And I'm going to start there with my rise over run. So notice this is a positive slope, which means when I start here, I'm going to go up 3, and then I'll go to the right 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, so I rise 3 and I run 4. And you'll notice I'm getting a line with a positive slope, a slope of 3/4, and it goes through the y-axis at 0. You also might get something like this. Just y equals 5. What the heck? This time if I write out my m and my b, there is no m, right? There's not like a 3x or a 3/4 x or something. So guess what? This is going to have a slope of nothing, of 0. It's going to be a horizontal line. My y-intercept is there. That's that constant. It's 5. So that means it crosses the y-axis at 5. So I'm going to go to 5, put my point there, and y is just always going to be 5. And I'm not going to go up or down any. I'm going to go straight across and create a horizontal line. And this is what a line with the slope of 0 looks like. So when you have y equals just some constant, some number without a variable, you'll have a horizontal line. Finally, we have x equals -3. So you'll see a difference between these is that instead of y equals something, it's x equals something. And so in the case of these, on the x-axis, I'm going to mark -3. 1, 2, 3. And this is saying that x is always going to be -3. It doesn't matter what y is, x is always going to be -3. So it's always going to go along this line. So this would be a vertical line drawn this way. And if we're asked what the slope was, we would say that this slope, m, is undefined, and it just doesn't have a y-intercept. It never crosses the y-axis.